Do you have the capital to survive it? Do you see anything happening? I mean, we just got done with the election. Who knows? Maybe high interest rates are behind us. Maybe the low interest rates are coming back. So maybe you can, afford to borrow money at a lower rate again. So maybe you want to start preparing for that opportunity. I mean, there's all type of stuff. You really want to just be in the know about what you're doing and understand your capital needs. Okay. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the 9% Show. I am your host, Steven Burton, and here at the 9%, y'all know how I get down. If I haven't done it, not doing it, or not about to do it, it will not come out my mouth. So welcome, everybody. Welcome to the 9% Show. Hey, cheers to everybody here. For those that like to be in the 9% Club, or those that are in the 9% Club, cheers to y'all, like we always do. All right. I'm excited. We're going to get into the end of the year, and I was just really thinking about some end of the year conversations we could have on the show. And that's really what's sparking this. We can, end of the year going by fast. I'm just like, these are things I'm prepping for the end of the year. And I just thought I could share it with y'all. But it's just, it's wild how, there's a lot of stuff going on. Honestly, at the end of the year, we getting close to our 1 year episode. We got some, really excited about that. We got some things plotting for that coming up soon. But it's just, honestly, and what I'm loving and seeing is that we're slowly making traction with this 9% Show. It got all these gems here. Guys, please like, subscribe, share our channel, share it to somebody. There's so much gems. I know there's some of y'all out there that's holding it to yourself. Like you just like, anybody remember back in the day when you would know an independent artist or somebody and they was a dope rapper and you'd be like, you didn't want nobody to know about it. They was like, yo, baby. Then as soon as they get out there and get all famous and stuff, you're like, oh, man, I knew about him back in his mixtapes. Don't do us like that, okay? You need to share this information. It needs to go to everybody. Don't just keep it to yourself. Share it. But we are seeing, trickle up in our numbers slightly a little bit. So I'm happy about what we're doing here at the 9% Show. I hope you guys are really enjoying the content that we're putting out here. And we'll continue to do it. We in this for the long run, okay? Just trying to empower entrepreneurs, empower business owners to make better decisions, to start businesses. And we're doing our part for the economy since we just got out of an election and I'm feeling very patriotic about my duties to America. So anyways, end of year. So we're talking about end of year stuff. And that's what we're going to talk about today is the end of year financial planning that all business owners must do. All of them. Okay. I didn't say some, I said all, including me. These are some things that you need to look at from a financial side that you should do to end the year right. Financially, that's this the lifeblood of the business. Okay. The numbers, the life, the cash flow, the money coming in, the money going out. That is all what business is about. It's all about surviving and getting to that next day, doing what you got to do. So there's some things I want to talk about. I'm going to talk about 5 different things of, 5 different points that you can need to think about, as you end the year off and, as a business owner. And, this isn't quite an episode that's for those that aspire to be business owners. This is more so like, people that's in the 9% are just, you got to establish business and, or, you finish a year, you got something to look at. Okay. This is an episode for the people that are actually doing something. Okay. Actually got a business popping a little bit. So that's what we're going to talk about. Okay. So, might as well get this thing started. We're going to talk about number 1, which is cash flow analysis. Cash flow is a popular word that you often hear on our 9% Show just because cash flow is king, okay? Cash flow is the lifeblood line of your business. Pretty much like, for those that don't know, cash flow is pretty much, the flow of cash, but you might have money coming in and it's just this big circle. You get sales and sales. But then you got to pay this vendor. You got to pay your light bill. You got to, maybe you bought some inventory and it's due in net 30, meaning it's due in 30 days. You got to pay that, but you don't get this next big order till like 2 days later. And it's like, okay, how do I get to these 2 days before I get this next PO that I can get? Oh, I got that cash. Okay, oh, it's payday. I got to pay that person. Oh, I got to do this. Cash flow is just this flow of cash. And it's like, even if you're profitable, you can have negative cash flow. Even if you're not profitable, you got positive cash flow. Like cash flow is such a thing that you need to really look at and understand as quickly as you can and understand how your business operates. understanding the seasonality of it, understanding, when is your vendors due? When is your bills due? Do you need to adjust things? When is your, payroll due? This is the time to really just look at where you're at. I mean, you might be feeling a cash flow crunch. I mean, most people come out of the holidays. The holidays around this time of year is the bread and butter for a whole lot of businesses. So this is your time to get the cash. But if you are one of these people that really depend on Christmas season, holiday shopping season, once you get all that money, okay, you are not going to Miami in January. Okay, you need to say, okay, this is how much we stacked up this time. This is what I need to do to survive. Okay, maybe a slow season is coming next. Maybe you're about to get a bunch of returns and exchanges or stuff like that. Like things you want to start planning for, where your cash flow is at, how you're feeling. You need to know where you're at going into this new year, at the end of the year, really get understanding your cash flow, because it is the most important thing you need to understand, and it could kill your business. I just want to give a warning. I did it, and I'll link it on here, but I did an episode on Shopify Capital and my review of that and other type of merchant loans that gives you loans based on your sales. And those type of loans that kill cash flow. Personally, I had to get, obviously I did a review on Shopify Capital, but I had to, by any means necessary, get away from them type of loans, because they're great. There's no credit check. They make it sound so great. Like, if you have low sales, you don't have to pay us that much. If you have high sales, you pay us a little more. But it's like really like daily payments is the worst. Okay. It kills cash flow. So I highly suggest getting away from that stuff, but please watch that video on Shopify Capital. It'll really teach you a lot about cash flow and how to think about some loans and capital that you have. So please pay attention to cash flow. Watch that video. It'll be great. All right. We're going to talk about number 2. Okay. Number 2 is expenses review. Okay. I think everybody should, at the end of the year, look at where all your money went. Is there things you can cut costs on? Is there things that you're spending money on that you don't need to spend money on? I remember one time I looked at something, I was paying for two cloud services. I'm paying for, and especially as your business gets more busy and a lot more gets larger and you scale up, there's so much stuff that money just flying. Honestly, a real thing, we use ShipStation, and they don't advertise us, so I dropped the vendor, but we use ShipStation for doing our shipping and putting all our shipments in one spot. I definitely like their services; it's really great. But honestly, I was looking at it yesterday, and I realized we was on a higher plan than what we were doing currently as far as our shipments go. We was on a plan. Pretty much, we've been on the same plan since our peak season when we're shipping out like a bunch of boxes, a bunch of orders every single day, and we have to be on a higher plan, But the great thing about ShipStation, as you go back down in seasonality, you can pay less. So we've been paying more, and I wasn't even paying attention to it. So as I was doing my expenses review, I was like, oh snap, let me lower the cost on that. Oh, let me do this. Every dollar saved is a dollar that helps you. Trust me, it also helps your cash flow. But I think you should look at your expenses and see, what you're spending, what is needed, where can you cut back on? Because, less money ain't a thing, and your business is just great 24/7, then you maybe not need to worry about this type of stuff. But I think every business is in the business of making more profit. So if that is you, you need to do this expense review. You need to look at every single line that you have, that money is coming out of your account, and start making some decisions on cutting back or what you could do better, what you can do that is more, get more bang for your buck, in essence. So, you really want to take a review of that. So I highly suggest an expense review, looking line by line, seeing what you could do in the year 2025, okay? Number 3 we're going to talk about is your capital needs, okay? We're going to talk about, you need to start looking at your stuff, getting ready at the end of the year, and just start thinking about, okay, what do I need investment-wise, strategic investments, cash flow? Do I need some capital? Do I need to apply for some credit cards? Like, what do I need? Take a look at your business. Where are you at? At what stage do you need to get to? There's all types of things that I think about in my own business. I mean, for example, we're in our slow season right now, and we have some cash flow issues. So instead of waiting, again, like I always say, don't wait to the last minute to apply for capital. When I saw something going on and I seen what's going on, I applied for some new credit cards that had 0 APR. I wasn't looking for rewards. I was looking for the longest 0 APR deal I could find. And so an interesting story with that is that I actually did a credit card with a US bank, and they have a very long, I think business cards don't give you that long, but I think that was about 18 months or so, 0 APR. But the crazy thing is, like, the opening credit limit was, I like to share my information here, but it was $10,000. And I feel weird by saying this, and trust me, I say this with all the humbleness in my bones and empathy for those that's coming up and, $50 means something to them. I ain't about to do nothing with $10,000. Okay, I was like, what is this? But a cool thing that you could do, and that I know to do, is that, once you get approved something, you could call them up and be like, hey man, I need a larger limit. This is a business credit card. I need to use it for these purposes. If I can't use it for these purposes, I can't mess with y'all. And so they boosted it up to like 25,000. Boom, boom, boom. But it's like little conversations like that, knowing what's going on, knowing what you need, understanding that, okay, let me get this 0. I hate paying interest. I don't want to pay interest. So I got this credit card to be able to put some of my expenses on there, pay these things off slowly, get to the new year, get to my peak season, like cash flow, opening up, that's where you need to be thinking. End of the year, see where you're at. What do you need? Will you be applying for some major capital? Will you be applying for a major loan? If you're not, you might not worry about this type of stuff. It's like you're fine. You might not worry about where your end of year numbers are at, where your revenue number is at, where your how much profit you made, how much less profit, what you're paying taxes on, what you ain't paying taxes on. All this stuff makes a difference when you understand, okay, what do you need capital wise? Really project out. Maybe you project out a whole year. Like, what do you envision yourself needing, doing? How much is it going to cost? Do you have the capital to survive it? Do you see anything happening? I mean, we just got done with the election. Who knows? Maybe high interest rates are behind us. Maybe low interest rates are coming back. So maybe you can, afford to borrow money at a lower rate again. So maybe you want to start preparing for that opportunity. I mean, there's all type of stuff. You really want to just be in the know about what you're doing and understand your capital needs. Okay. All right. We'll talk about number 4. And number 4 is vendors and suppliers evaluation. Same way you look at your expense review, you want to do the same type of review with your vendors and your suppliers. Hey, everything's up for negotiation. You want to look at what you're doing, what cost you're getting for some of your items. You want to know, maybe you look at your end of year numbers and your financial review, and you be like, okay, man, through this year, I sold like 100 of these items. And then you realize, well, shoot, I've been buying them at a, per a one line base. Like I'm buying one of them and they give me this rate. Maybe you say, okay, I feel comfortable to buy 50 of them and they're going to give me, 10% off, whatever it is. You want to start thinking about what's what, or maybe there's a relationship with a vendor that you had a great year with, or maybe you've been on with them a year or 2 years and you just want to come back to them like, hey man, we got a great relationship. I'm doing well with you. What can we do about these prices? What can we do about these terms? Can you give me some terms? Can you give me net 30? Can you give me net 15? What can we do here? How can you make my life better? How can I help you, help me, help we, help us, help all of us? You know what I'm saying? Okay. So that's what you want to be with when you talk about with your vendors and suppliers. A great way to, raise your bottom line is just getting your products for less. I mean, if you're able to do that, see where people at. Find new vendors, compare some costs. See, you definitely want to review this stuff. You want to have a time, end of the year is great. Review everything. You know what I'm saying? Your vendors and suppliers. Pretty straightforward on that one. I don't really got too much to add, so we'll jump on to number 5, which is our last one. We're going to talk about goal alignment for financial growth. And what I mean here is that you want to think about specific goals going into the end of the year and then kind of like into the new year as far as like, specific goals, like specific numbers. What was your gross margin, your net profit, your conversion rate? Have some of these goals where you say, maybe my conversion rate was 1%. Maybe I want to switch. I strive for it to be 2%. I need to make more get getting maybe better prices from your vendors, getting the capital to buy in bulk more from your vendors, that it could boost that. Looking at your expenses helps your bottom line, your gross margin. Like, what are you selling for? What's your cost per acquisition? What's your marketing? How much are you paying to get every customer in? Really start diving deep on things you want to set for goals into the new year. You want to set these little goals, get specific what you're trying to target. A real life situation for me, like we'll look at, my peak season, it will be in the spring and summertime. And sometimes I look at my conversion rate and I just be like, shoot, man, if we can get 1% more of people to buy, man, we would make X amount of dollars. Like that's our goal, y'all. Everybody in the company, we need 1% more. Can we do it? And then it starts thinking now, you start trickling out, like, how do we accomplish this 1%? Okay, well, we can do better our marketing strategy. Oh, better outreach. Oh, better messaging. Maybe upsell better. Maybe our average order value needs to be higher. Whatever the case may be. Start with specific goals, really diving deep into the numbers. That's all about growth. All about thinking about ways to grow the business, grow your income, grow your dollars. That's what you want to be thinking about at the end of the year as you have this overall financial review. And as always, I highly suggest having a bookkeeper, okay? Get you a bookkeeper. Over accountant and CPA, all that is good and dandy. You need tax preparers and all that type of stuff. But if you don't get confused of the difference between a bookkeeper and an accountant, okay? You need a bookkeeper on your team. I have one that I pay monthly. They're always there. But you can have it quarterly. You can have it, biannually, annually reviewed. Depends on, the amount of transactions and things going on like that. But bookkeepers are great because they can make sure your numbers are correct, make sure you got good data to look at. And then they can also help you prepare these type of reports for you to look at to make it make sense. Your cash flow analysis, there's a report for that. Your expenses, you can look at your P&L statement. You can look at your expense report. Your capital needs, you can look at your balance sheet and understanding the debt you have and the assets you have. Your vendors and suppliers, who you owe money to, who you don't owe money to. All these things you can do, but you gotta have correct books, okay? Your numbers gotta be correct. So I highly, highly suggest getting a bookkeeper. It is very worthwhile for, no matter what stage of business you're at, I highly suggest a bookkeeper. And that's it. Okay. That's it for this episode. We are, coming up on our, I think I said at the top of the episode, we're coming up on our 52 episode. It is a year we've been rocking with y'all here on the 9%. We are excited about it. We got a special episode coming. So we got one episode next week and then the year, 52 episode will be coming. So we're very excited about that. As always, please subscribe to our channel. Please share the good word of our 9% show and don't keep it to yourself. Please share, like. We really appreciate it. It helps us go a long way, helps the algorithm find us, all that good stuff that comes along with it. And we just hope that you find true value into what we putting out here for y'all. Okay? Until next time, I will catch you on the 9% show. Peace.